Hello, hello, hello. Hello. We are back briefly. Hello. Let me see. Okay. Hi. Hello. Hello, 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 hello. Back by popular demand. Okay. Let me take another request. Siva, Carol. Gonna have that conversation. Hello. Thank you for coming back. You know.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, Carol. How are you?
Hi. I'm
Good to
fine.
see you.
I'm so glad you came back. There were so many people saying, please stay on, stay on. There's a
Oh
lot of new
wow.
questions.
So, so it's so great to see you, Carol.
And
How are you?
you. I'm very well, thank you. So I have a question, and this is a bit of a
Yes.
curve, right? I have a son who will be 30 next February.
Okay.
And he's my only son, he's my only child,
Okay.
and he doesn't want to get married. And I want grandkids. What do I do?
He doesn't want to get
How do
married.
I persuade him? How do I persuade him that marriage
What
is
what was his reason?
he
What did he
said
say? I mean,
he said he hasn't seen any successful marriages. So what's the point? Why waste time? Why waste time? Why waste
interesting.
money?
Interesting. You should get him to talk to me. Not only will I convince him that marriage is good, I have some daughters, that I know that I
Aha.
could I could hook him up with some very godly, very very pretty, very godly young women. We should talk, Carol.
He's a
DM
fine boy.
me.
He's a fine boy.
But it's true. There are many marriages that haven't worked, but at the same time too, though, there are some that really really worked. And I keep saying it: if people would understand what love is and they would commit to doing love, it would work. That's just the main thing. It would work.
I think
I
I
believe
think
in
the
love.
I think the challenge, I believe in love and I still believe in love. However, I think there's a very big difference culturally between here and the UK. Or should I say Africa and the West?
Love is
Because
universal.
it is love. Love is universal, but I'm talking about marriage now.
Okay.
The light is struggling. Sorry. I've had to turn off the AC because we're on Gen. Um, I think there's a big difference culturally between the West and here. In the West, there is no seriousness. There's no seriousness about marriage, but
Okay.
people still believe in love, bizarrely. And yet here, and this is just my opinion, just my experience, um, people go into marriage for all the wrong reasons. They don't really talk about love. They talk about money. They talk about stability. They talk about, is he
Babies.
godly? Has he got a tick list? And then within a year, the woman's pregnant and producing children, and then it's all over. It's like you stay in it because you're supposed to stay in it because church says you've got to stay in it. But in all of that, where's the love? And so I don't know, somewhere in between and somewhere in the middle, I think is where we should be. We should be talking about love, and as well as the practicalities. You were talking about a tick list, making sure that you've got a picture in your head,
Yes.
person,
And
etc., etc.
actually, if most people, like I said, they're because many couples, I'm surprised because I advise them when they're about to get married. I say, you know what, guys, don't get pregnant right away. Give yourselves 12 months, 2 years, enjoy
Yeah,
yourselves. Travel the world. Do just really enjoy yourselves because when the
joy.
baby comes, the baby doesn't go away. It's like
No,
a switch. Once it's on, baby is on. And it's full-time work. You are responsible for this human being. But guess what? After I tell them all of this, Few months after the wedding, you know, they're pregnant. You know, so basically, I think people choose the lives that they want to live. I do believe that in all of this, there are people who have chosen to spend some time, enjoy themselves, and really build on love. Love has got to be studied, because it's not something we hardly ever default to love. So if we don't study love and intentionally just start to do what love is, because love is a verb. There are things I would do to you that you would feel loved. Yeah, because, and there's some things I do that you won't feel loved. So if I would intentionally always do things to you that will make you feel loved, we're going to be okay. Especially if you do the same thing to me. And then it's going to be like, yeah. But most times people get selfish, and love is not selfish. Love is not selfish. People get selfish. They think about themselves. They think about their needs. They're not really trying to look out for the other person, and then it gets lopsided. But love still exists, and it still works.
Yeah. There's so many people that I want to get in on the conversation, and my battery is about to die, so I'm going to allow others to come in. Lovely talking to you.
Thank you, Carol. Nice talking to you finally. Amazing. Thanks a lot. Okay, so this is Dalio. Let's get something from a guy. Let's see a guy. Ask me some male questions tonight. We hear a lot about women. Dalio, I've sent you a request right there. Waiting for Dalio to come on. Any other questions, people? Questions? I want to see some questions, more questions. Judy is trying to log in. That is good. Judy, where is Judy? Judy. I am not seeing Judy, where are you? Judy Alexis. Okay. Let me see here. I'm trying to check. Now, Henry, is that you? Are you there? Henry, let's get Henry in. Henry, I looked for Henry early on. Henry, where have you been? Yeah, I see you now. Henry.
Yeah.
Guy.
I have been listening to everything that everyone has been saying, and I must confess, we need this kind of conversations now in 21st century. We need it now because we've been making so many mistakes in our relationships, in marriages. But from my own personal opinion, I have a few questions for you. But I was starting off from my personal opinion. I was in a very, very traumatic relationship over the past some years ago, and then that has made me change my reorientation about relationship generally. So
no matter
women
how
never
much think that men have traumatic relationships. Women think men just have it their way and get away with murder. This is a man saying he was traumatized by a woman.
And PD, to be sincere with you, those that are close to me know how much trauma I had to go through, because this is somebody I dedicated 3 years of my life to, and it was just a joke. But now the thing is, no matter the love you come to me with now, I treat everyone on friendship basis, and I'm trying to go back into seeing if I can go into a relationship, but it's not working. And I know so many guys are in this situation with me. So many guys who prefer to put the ladies at a friendship base than go into a relationship. I would want to know, what advice do you think you can give to someone like me? What advice would you even give me for a start? Because I know I'm not sure in the next 2 years I see myself going into a relationship. It's not out of anger, but I have gone through something that I feel it's okay. It's okay. I'm no longer interested. That's the first question. I think you should start from there.
Okay. One thing that I would advise is this. When a person hurts you, you feel hurt and you feel the pain, and that is okay. And it's okay to respond to that person. So if If it's about trust, then I don't trust that person. If it's about anything else, it's my response is to that person. Anytime that we take that response and we now just apply it to everybody, ultimately we will lose. Did you just get that? Ultimately, one, we will lose, and ultimately the same thing that happened before will happen again. So we've got to learn to like apply the response to the source. So that person, you know, don't trust them. That person, be careful with them. That person, don't, you know, till you're healed, don't give them your time or your love, you know. But it should be to that person. If somebody else comes, you can't punish a new person for the sins of the old, like you can't punish this prospective new woman for the sins of the old girlfriend. If you do that, it's not fair, and it's going to backfire at some point in time. So what you want to do is take your time and heal from the hurt. Too many times too, we tend to move forward before we're healed, which means that just heal from the hurt. Heal from the hurt. Make sure that you're okay. Make sure that you're fine. Make sure that you get to a point where you can interface with that person without feeling bitter in your heart. When you're in that position, then you're okay to actually start to talk to somebody else. If not, you're going to carry baggage from there, because this person will say something innocent and you're just going to jump on it, and it's because it's like you're expecting her to be like that other person. So take your time, be good, you know.
I think I've not healed enough. I think that's the right one to say. I've not healed enough.
Yes.
Okay, now the second question is, how do you think we should approach women who are financially stable, who are more exposed than us? Okay, like say a young guy who is interested in a lady who is exposed. By exposure, I mean she schooled abroad, the exposure of studying abroad, financially she's stable, but you really love this person. How do you think we should go about it?
Okay, yes. Now, is it going about pursuing her or going about moving along in the relationship?
Moving along in the relationship.
So we're assuming that the relationship already exists. First thing is, don't have a complex. Don't have a complex. Everybody brings something to the table. Everybody brings something to the table. So realize what your strengths are. Okay, refine your strengths and bring it to the table. And at the same time, don't try to, because I've seen this happen, don't try to bring her down. Like I've seen men try to, at some point in time, it's just like their ego. Once they get in, initially they're nice, but once they're in, they want to psychologically or just bring you down because they think you're higher. Don't do that. Just be very confident in yourself, because you know that you're bringing something to the table. And whatever you're bringing to the table, make sure that it's solid and you keep improving yourself. You don't have to stay where you are. Just increase your exposure, work harder, take all the opportunities, and keep moving. Don't let that difference be a divide between you. Okay. And definitely be confident in yourself.
Okay. PDD, this is one part I would want you to talk so much about. There are guys who are not so spiritually inclined, who are not so spiritual. They don't go to church all the time. But there's this church girl that they like. And I know it's somewhere in the Bible where on even Don't Yoke or something. It's somewhere that where people not on the same path cannot be together. This guy who is not a church person loves this church girl and actually believes that he loves her sincerely. But based on the fact that he doesn't go to church and the girl sees him as a sinner because she doesn't go to church, the girl automatically kills everything that could ever happen between two of them. But this guy actually loves this girl. But how do you think what conclusion should they come to? He doesn't go to church. He believes in God, but he doesn't go to church.
Personally, I don't think, there are people that go to church that are completely demonic. Let me tell you now. So going to church should just never be the standard for which you choose. Now, if these two people get to talk, it's easy for you to know if a person fears God. or if that person is, if this person is mature, in their character enough to be okay for you. So if they would get to talk, they can decide very quickly if it's going to be worth it or not. Seriously, that's even if this so-called church girl knows what it is to be God-fearing. But it's easy to talk to a person. Like by the time you're talking to a person and you can see that they're ready to fight with you at the drop of a hat, they're not willing to be forgiving, they take offense easily, they're very self-centered, very selfish. You know that church or no church, this is just not your person. Just not your person. You want a person who is not selfish, who is caring and is loving, who is considerate, a person that will serve you, a person that's humble, a person that will play with you and forgive you, that will not take offense from you, or that's who you're looking for. And if you find that person, jump on it.
Yeah, Pastor, somebody just asked a question about, she said the person, both of them should have godly values. Now, it brings to notion what godly values is. For me, okay, let me use me as a case study. I for one, I go to church. I believe in certain principles. I help the needy. I give alms. I go to church. I pray. But I'm not moving in spirit. Let me just say I'm not moving in spirit like she is. So what are the godly values aside the normal fact of giving alms, being holy, not being holy, doing the certain charismatic things or Christian things that we should think? Somebody asked a question of God values. What are the God values?
There's actually only one value that's important in all of this. And that's a person who just knows that they are loved by God. There's a revelation that God loves me that allows you to just love other people. If you don't have that revelation, forget about it. Like just have a revelation that God loves you. Because it just allows you to love other people.
That's true. Okay, now let me ask you.
It's actually a very simple equation. But if it's out there
it's simple to you, but so many people are suffering from it. It's simple to you, but so many people are suffering
that's just
from it.
Sad.
So many people are suffering from it. Is there any aspect of your partner's life that you feel should be kept a secret? Because I have been in a relationship where I'm dating someone, but there are certain aspects of her life that she tells me that she cannot tell me, and she keeps it a secret. Or even in relationship, courtship, are there any aspect of a spouse's life that you feel should actually be reserved? And if she says it's the no-go area, you should not go there. You should not bother about it.
Well, love is about intimacy. Intimacy is about closeness. And anytime we have no-go areas in our lives with regards to the person that we're with, it fights intimacy, it fights closeness, and it just depletes the love. So it's not supposed to be there. It's actually not. As you get serious, I mean, like, if you're not yet, on that path to getting married, it's fine. But by the time you get serious, you're considering living your lives together forever. Once you start considering that, then it's better for your spouse to hear from you than to hear outside. You just get that. So there shouldn't be no-go areas if you're getting serious with yourselves.
The lady before me, Elder Consultancy, I think so. She was making reference to culture, and that is one thing that brings me to the next question about culture. How would you advise a man who is in love with a lady, but the man's family is not in support of that marriage? For a man should leave his father and mother to cleave unto his wife as one. But also the same Bible says you should honor your father and your mother so that your days will be long. Should I go against my parents saying don't marry her, or should I still leave my parents and marry her because I love her? That's where some men are having these issues. So some guys like me are having issues. There are two parts in the Bible where you have to obey your parents, and there's also the part where you have to leave them and cleave to your wife and become one. Which one now should we go with?
It's always good to have your parents' blessings. So what I would do is I probably would delay the planning while I pray and I try to convince them and talk to elders in the family and just gather more support. But the eloping, the just disobeying and running away with the woman and marrying her, it would be a last alternative. It's not something I would consider quickly. Because with time, people change their minds. So I would put more pressure on the parents and try to get them to see what I already see.
What if you're not seeing it, Daddy? What if you're not seeing it? And it's taking long. And this is somebody I have made up my mind that this is the person I want to be with. What if you're not seeing it? Because I have seen so many cases where they don't see it.
Permanently. Yeah, I mean, and it's true because, okay, I'll tell you this. I know one particular case where they did, they did go away and they got married. And when they had the first child, the parents called them both and they settled, you know. So sometimes, you know, if you feel that way inclined, you know, just make sure that you're late.
It's been an amazing one with you. But the last one I want to ask, I also want to give others opportunity to talk. Are there any 7 or 5 guidelines on effective relationship? That if there is something, if somebody had to ask you, are there 5 guidelines or is there any basic principles that can be applied to all in terms of relationship?
Yes. One, okay. Love is the fuel of all relationships. It's all about love. And love is intentional. It's not something that you do because you feel. Because it's intentional, you do it on purpose and you do it all the time. Love is never about yourself. Never about yourself. If you take care of people, people will take care of you. If you sow into people's lives, if you bless people, blessings come back to you. And with love, with love, you don't take offense. People that take offense quickly can never build relationship. I've seen people take offense from their destiny helpers. A person who is a person that's going to help your destiny took offense. You shouldn't be, so you don't take offense, and then you must forgive. You always have to forgive, and that's always important.
Yes,
something happened.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay. It's been an amazing one.
Thank you.
Let me go and turn on the chair and see. Thank you so much.
Where is Judy? Let me see if I can. Judy, talk to me. Where are you, Judy? Judy. Judy. Is she request Judy right there? I think I accepted that request. Good. So I hope we've heard some. I think after Judy, I will be closing for the night. It was supposed to be 30 minutes, then an extension.
Yay!
Hey, finally, hey!
Finally!
How are you
doing?
Fine, thank you.
Oh. Okay, so I've been taking some of the questions that have been in the comments.
Yes, fantastic.
While you've been talking, so there's quite a few of them. The first one is a guy, I think, was asking. He said, how does a guy handle a woman?
Hello. How does a man handle a woman who's very strong and vocal?
Yeah, it's very strong.
That's it.
Maybe a bit aggressive, outspoken.
Yes,
it's handle that kind of woman. That was one of the questions.
Okay, now that woman is what you call an aggressive. It's a personality type. 2 aggressives will not do well together. Mm-hmm. So if she's aggressive, the man is going to either be a passive or a passive aggressive, which means that you're going to let a lot of things go, but you're going to spend time with her and let her understand that she needs to clear things with you. When people are aggressive like that, they do a lot of things without checking in on their partner. They're just doing, and they're pushy. But you need to let her know that she should always confirm things with you to make sure that you're okay with it. To always not take decisions by herself, because that happens a lot. But it's if you can get her to talk and you have a good conversation, it can work. It can work, because one person has got to back down. If both of you insist on being aggressive, it's not going to work. You're going to fight, and it's just not going to work. there's a word that I termed called refined aggressive. Refined aggressive is a person who you're naturally aggressive, but you've learned how to love. So now you're loving, so now you tone down on purpose and you're loving. So both of you need to become refined aggressives. She needs to go learn what love is. If she knows what love is, she'll pipe down.
Calm down a little bit. Okay.
Calm down.
One of the
Calm
other
down.
questions, I think it came up when you were talking about communication and so on. Someone was asking, what are your top 5 red flags when looking for a life partner? So are there like red flags that you think people should be looking out for?
Yes. One, if the person is very self-focused, they're going to be a very bad mate, spouse. Because if their focus is on themselves, they're going to make a lot of selfish decisions without considering you at all. So one, if they're selfish, huge red flag. If they're very proud, amazing red flag. If they're not teachable, if they don't have a teachable spirit, that's another huge flag. Because it's okay to meet you where you are, but if you're teachable, then we can grow together, and you can improve, you can change for the better. But if you're not teachable, that's just not good. Kind is good. So if you just kind is good and considerate is good. I think those are good. Those are good things to just look at. And a person that has no problem serving. Marriage is amazing when you have 2 people who are willing to serve one another. Because it's just like it's just so nice. Both of you serving each other and looking out for each other, knowing that the reason why I'm in this person's life is to make their life better. Can you imagine if there are 2 people and both people just have it at the forefront of their mind that my purpose in your life is to make your life better, and we do, and we both think that to each other. It's just amazing.
But then I guess if both parties have to serve, so like the man and the woman needs to serve, what ways is that different? Because I guess the way a man serves is different to how a woman serves.
No, I mean it's about caring. It's like I'm coming home and I know that there was no milk, there was no bread. I stopped, I picked it up. I find that you're working in the kitchen, and I know how much you got to do, and I take on some of the work. I cut the onions while you cut the tomatoes. We just get to do it together. I mean, I'm not like just sitting in the living room waiting for her to bring it out.
Yeah.
No?
Okay.
It makes a difference. Makes a huge difference.
Okay, another question. You spoke a lot about, or people spoke a little bit about divorce. Someone's asking, what advice do you have for people who are starting again? So a lot of people maybe have gone through divorces or separations, or they already have children and stuff like that. So what kind of advice do you have for people that are starting again? Because I guess it's kind of different if you're 19 and doing courtship for the first time around. So
the first thing I'd say is you must have learned something. Anybody coming out of a divorce must have learned something. So whatever the lessons are, learn them and make sure that going forward, if there's any part that you played in what happening, then learn that lesson. That's 1. 2, learn to choose wisely. Yeah. Wiser than before. Okay? Because it's really I think everybody that's gone through a divorce should take time, actually sit down with paper and pencil and say, well, where did I go wrong from the beginning? From the courtship to the marriage to the very end. Where, what were my faults? And don't be so proud that you can't figure out what you did wrong. What did I not look at coming in? What were the things that I should have done or should not have done? Now, that being said and done, you've got to now make up your mind that I'm not going to take out whatever happened to me in the past on this new person. Because it's like, if this other person used to maybe not give me money when he should, now I have this guy and he just missed not giving money once, then I'm making a big deal. But not because he did something wrong. The big deal is because I'm projecting, what happened to me in the past. So you got to not do that, and you've got to just be very hopeful, and you know, you're wiser. You're wiser, so your chances at making it work is much higher. That's the, you know, so that's the upside.
Okay.
And everything's going to be okay.
Somebody's asking a question here. What should you do if your parents refuse you to marry a man because of where he's from? You have prayed and you've tried to convince them, but they have refused. And in addition to that, somebody else had also asked about should Christians marry non-Christians? Some people have mentioned intertribal and interracial marriage. So I guess what's your take on that? Parents just adamantly refusing solely based on where the person is from.
You know, that's a tough call. That's a really tough call, because I never like to advise people not to listen to their parents. But then I've seen, there's a young lady I used to know back in the day that at least her parents turned away maybe 2-3 guys that wanted to marry her, and she ended up not getting married for a long time. To the point where now her parents are like, okay, just marry the next person that comes. So sometimes parents get carried away. I think we should learn some lessons when we become parents, that we shouldn't be like that. So that's important. But pray and try to convince them. I just don't like people, you know, not having the parents' blessing when they get married. You know, talk to them, pray, you know, they'll change their minds.
They'll change their minds. Okay. Somebody asked a question earlier. They said that there's a trend at the moment of men looking for more financially stable women than themselves. A lot of women are having to settle, and there's a lot of disparity. So what are your ideas around this? Do you think that guys should aim to level up? Or do you think that that's a bad thing? Or what's your idea around this?
I don't think that should be his aim. If he ends up with a woman that's done better than him, it's okay. But that should not be the goal. People should marry for love. For love.
So she can't be his destiny helper.
You know, like, but at the end of the day, does he love her? Does he actually love her, or he loves what she has? Do you get that? So if he loves her and she knows that she's loved, then it's okay. I mean, it does come down to that. Where you know, and there's a way you can know if a guy loves you or not. Just don't see. It's like this. If you take your time, you won't make a mistake. Times we make mistakes is that we've moved too fast. We moved so fast, we didn't catch the signals, we didn't catch the... But if we take our time, just take your time. Don't be in a hurry. If you take your time, everything gets revealed. You get to see everything. You see him or her the way they are.
The way they
take your time. Yeah.
Someone is still asking about marrying somebody of... Okay, they're still asking about this. So there are lots of guys, they say, that are scouting for rich people's daughters to marry. That are looking for governors' daughters and all these things. But you heard it here. You should love the person or be looking for the person and not for what the person has.
And if you take time, if you take your time, you'll know if he loves you or not. You'll know. Like I've seen people making plans for your money and your car before you're married. I mean, if he's making plans for your money or your car before you're married, I mean, what do you think? He's already like driving your car all over town like it's his, you know. But if you see, if a guy loves you, he'll try to do his own thing, and then you figure it out. Yeah. I mean, it shows. Just take your time, and you'll see. Just take your time. Don't just keep moving and see. You will see it clearly.
So someone else is asking about. Okay, there's 2 questions. One of them is, I guess, okay, someone's asking, what about marrying someone of a different faith?
It depends on how deep you are in your faith. Because if you're in a faith, if you're deep in a faith, you love your God, okay? So it's very difficult to love somebody that's not loving your God. Hello?
I can hear you.
Hello?
We're hearing you. I'm hearing you.
Did you just get that? Where if you're in a faith, you love your God. And because you love your God, it will be difficult for you to love somebody that doesn't love your God. Did you just get that? Except both of you are not really that deep into your God, then it could, you could do it. But if you're into your God, one person has to move from one faith to the other.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, but one person has to join one person. Either way. Does that make sense? It makes sense? Fantastic.
The top three
Now,
things
is good.
in a life partner.
Question again, please.
What is the top three things you should look out for in a life partner?
Their ability to love, forgive, and not take offense. See, if you get a person just loves, forgives, doesn't take offense, you're good. You're good. You're good because you're just good. You're just good.
Mm-hmm.
3 things. That's right.
So love, forgive, and not take offense.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Someone else was asking, I guess more about finances in marriage. That
okay.
I guess about the man being the sole provider. So like once you get married, is the husband supposed to take care of everything? Are you supposed to do 50-50? Like what's your take on the way finances and things like that should be split?
Every family has different financial partnerships going on. If the man is that wealthy, fine. But in this day and age, a lot of women contribute as well. It's always good for both parties to come together. Like you don't have to have a joint account, but it's good for both parties to come together and agree on who takes care of what. And of course, I would expect the man to take care of the bulk of it, if possible. But then people have different financial partnerships. But money should be open. The idea where one person doesn't know how much the other person is earning is not a healthy idea, because one person starts to write checks that the other person can't catch. So it's good to be very open with your finances. When the bills come, you say, okay, you take care of the rent, you take care of the food, you take care of the car or whatever, and then just come to some agreement. Where people fight a lot about money is unknowingly to many people have financial language. Money means different things to different people. So for some people, money means security. Some people it's status. Some people it's a seed, it's for investment. Now, if most times the money language is not the same. So when money comes, one person wants to save it and see the many zeros and they're comfortable. One person wants to buy a big car because they want to be the big guy in town. One person wants to invest it. Now, if you don't understand why people quarrel is they don't recognize their partner's money language, and they're acting. Their action is not in alignment with their partner. For example, she wants to save the money because if she has the money, she feels peaceful. But he wants to just spend it. Now, what you do is this: when you get the money, put enough in the savings so she's happy, and then whatever is left, then you spend, or you invest, or you do whatever is. But take into consideration your partner's money language. Because
someone else is asking here, based on this,
yes,
what your views are on prenups.
My views on prenups?
Yes.
Well, prenups are prenups. If both of you agree to have prenups, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because people are coming from different places. If you both feel, if he or if she feels she needs a prenup, and he says, well, I don't need your money, I just love you, and if this will make you comfortable, sign the papers.
Yeah. Okay. There's another question here. In your opinion, is there any deal breaker in a relationship or marriage? Can you share? I mean, why is that a deal breaker? What would you consider a deal breaker in a relationship?
My gosh. In a relationship, there could be deal breakers. In a marriage, no deal breaker. Now, in a relationship,
no deal breakers.
In a relationship, if one party just completely violates everything that relationship stands for, just violates it completely, unrepentantly, I think it's over.
Mm-hmm.
And
but in a marriage, okay, let's just take it to a marriage.
But in a marriage, a deal breaker. Violence. No. For violence, like immediately there's any form of violence, there needs to be a separation. There needs to be a separation, and both parties need to get counsel. And when healing has taken place, they can come back. But I would not leave anybody with a person that's abusing them physically. And when we talk about this, we're assuming that it's the man, but sometimes it's actually the man getting abused
by the woman.
I've seen that too. You know? Yeah. But yeah. That for me would be something that has to be dealt with right away.
Okay. Someone's asking, what's your take on counseling in marriage? Even when there are no issues. So do you believe it's
so
important even
compulsory.
without an issue?
It's like servicing a car. It's like saying, do I need to ever service my car? Of course you do. Yeah. If you're in a marriage, even when it's really going nice, counseling, you sit in front of a person that's going to talk to you, show you how to get things to even work better than it is. And if you're having problems, kind of shed light into it. I do a lot of counseling, especially through this PD page. And a lot of people have been healed. They've gotten back together with their spouses. We've got a lot of testimonies. And most times, I'll tell you this, people are good people. They're just ignorant. That's all. They're good. Wife is good. Husband is good. But because they don't have the knowledge of love in some areas, then they start to have some issues that they don't need to have. So if that information comes, things get much, much better. No matter how good your marriage is today or your relationship, if you get counseled, it gets better. And if you're struggling, then you surely need to be counseled.
So can people reach out to you on your Instagram page for counseling if they need marital counseling?
Yes, people DM me all the time. So please DM me, follow me on this page, follow me and DM me, and I'll make out time and we'll talk. I will sort it out. Things can always get better.
Okay.
Very good, Judy. I think my time is
your time is
up, Judy.
Someone is saying,
thank you very, very
your
much.
last thoughts. Looking for a wife is like looking for a needle in a haystack these days. So any advice for a young man that is looking for a life partner?
A young man that's looking for, don't look at the outside, look at the inside. You see, your spouse's outside will change, but the inside is who you live with. That's a person that's consistently with you. So you look on the inside, look at the person's character, look at a lot of things on the inside. Don't let the outside just look inside. And know what gold is, so you can recognize gold when you see it. That's food for thought. Okay. Know what gold is, so you can recognize it when you see it. I'll leave you to ponder on that. So I love you all. I speak love into all your hearts. Have fun. See you next week, same time, 8:30 on Saturday.